Deepa Iyer, ladies and gentlemen, campaigner and advocate of immigrant rights. Deepa served as executive director of South Asian Americans Leading Together for nearly a decade. She's an activist and prolific commentator on race relations and is one of the most visible and active community leaders anywhere in America.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for that very generous video introduction and for the cheers from my table. I'm truly humbled to receive this recognition from India Abroad, which has long served as a pillar in our community here in America for news and information affecting our communities. And thank you for the team that pulled this together. I know from doing events that it is not easy to do this, so a round of applause to all of you who did that. I'm well aware that while I might be the one standing before you tonight, that it is only so because of people in my life who have lifted me up and shown me the way. So I want to take a moment to acknowledge first my mother and father who immigrated from Kerala to Kentucky in the mid-1980s. Their unconditional support, as well as my brother Gopal's, of my dreams and hopes in carving a path for myself, a rather unique path for an Indian American, is the primary reason I stand here. And I also want to thank my partner Parag, who over the 10 years I worked as director of SALT, supported me to attend weekend workshops and spend late nights on conference calls and meetings, and has continued to do so even after our son Ahi arrived 4 years ago. And lastly, I am indebted to people, especially women, who have come before me to light the way for how you can devote your life to social change. Women like Malika Dutt, Vinita Gupta, Chamtholi Haq, Rinku Sen, Seema Gnani, and many others who are mentors and examples for me. So my message tonight is that even as we celebrate individual achievement, and we should, the community of firsts, the titles that we occupy, that we also need to start thinking about community-wide prosperity. And as I look out over this room tonight, I see that so many of us have been able to achieve a piece of that ideal American dream. Each of us has some sort of privilege or achievement, whether it's educational or financial. We have the ability to make choices in our daily lives. But I can tell you, and as I know many of you know, in my work at SALT, I met and sat with many people who could not do that. I met and sat with people like Sangeeta Richard, who raised her voice for equal pay, like the Steiny brothers, who lost their mother in a violent hate crime in Oak Creek, Wisconsin 2 years ago, like Bhupan Ram, an undocumented and gay student in California who wishes to live and work in this country. And as our community grows and as many of us become more successful, our challenge will be, how can we start to go beyond the me to embrace the we? How can we start to include people outside of our own socioeconomic or immigration status or religion or race, and start to understand that we need to lift all boats, not just one of our own? There is a tendency in our society to think that someone else is handling community issues of the day, but I can tell you from the front lines of organizations all over the country that we need your help. Each one of us can take up the mantle of community service, the award that this is named for, to move beyond the me to include the we. We can find an issue we feel passionately about and use our privilege through donations, through our ideas, through our skills to do our part in creating social change. Mahatma Gandhi said the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. That has been the case for me every single day, and I hope it will be for each of us so that we can lift all of our boats. Thank you again, and I look forward to catching up with many of you tonight.